Hey y'all, what's up? Jamie, that's me here. We are back. We are back again. Y'all already know Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip has dropped. So we do have to go ahead and get into the episode because again, Miss Candiace had to snap off on Miss Porsha, okay? And we'll get into all of that, all right? First things first. This day is Porsha's day, okay? And somewhat of Gizelle's night, okay? Miss Porsha gets to plan the activities for the day, and Miss Gizelle is going to do like the Mardi Gras dinner or whatever. So let's get into some things. Now, of course, Candiace goes to check on Leah to make sure Leah is good after everything that happened that night before. And Leah is like, she feels better, especially now that she knows that Gizelle has done worse things on camera than me sitting up here saying that I'm bored, okay? Let's be very clear. And I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't have been bothered by Gizelle had to say from the beginning, even if she said you telling somebody you're bored was going to offend them. If that's how you feel, girl, forget that lady. Now, Candiace said the only difference between, this was funny to me. The only difference between the Housewives and soap operas is the fact that soap operas have a script, whereas Housewives don't at all, okay? So this prompted Peacock to run some type of Days of Our Lives type of intro of the ladies, which I actually cackled just a little bit, but I also thought that it was cute at the same time, like a cute and corny type thing. So I like that, okay? Candiace says she want her Emmy for all of the tea that she be out here giving her entire life. And I'm wondering, like, do reality shows like Bravo style reality shows, Big Brother and stuff, like do they even get the opportunity to be on the list of Emmys? I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I'm just wondering if they get that opportunity. I would think not, but y'all let me know. Either way, let's keep going. So Whitney calls Lisa Barlow on FaceTime, and I felt the way because it's like, first of all, Whitney, this is what I'm learning about you. And I wrote this later on in my comments, but I'm going to say it now while it's on my mind. Whitney, I'm starting to can't stand your ass. I'm going to be real honest. And you definitely strike me as the Ashley Darby of motherfucking Salt Lake City. Okay? You definitely, and I'm going to tell you when you jumped into a conversation that ain't have shit to do with you. So especially knowing how you feel about Candiace already out the gate. So then I'm like, girl, yeah, she's giving me Ashley Darby. Now I see why you connect with Ashley so much. And now I see why you didn't like anything that Miss Candiace had to say when it came to Miss Ashley. I don't know how you can watch the fucking show and not see how grimy Ashley is. And then you over there siding with her like, girl, bye. So Whitney gets on my fucking nerves. But she wants to talk to Lisa about Heather. And it's like, Heather can't stand her ass. Why is you on the phone with her? But you was just talking about making sure you and your family good, whatever. So she talks to Heather. She talks to Lisa about Heather and how she feels like Whitney chose the show over her, basically. Then she tells Lisa about Heather being upset with her for calling her out about the Mormon situation and how she still got her name on the books. She hasn't left, but she over here writing the book. Now, at the same time, like I told y'all last week, I do get where Whitney is coming from a bit, I have to say, because it is giving a little sketch, but it's just kind of how you go about doing stuff, because it's like you be having conversations with everybody else about Heather behind her back before you have that conversation with Heather. And that's the problem that I have with you. But you have the audacity to sit up here and feel a way about Miss Candiace when Candiace is so direct. And I feel like I think I get it though, now that I think about it, because you say more shit behind a person back than you say in their face. That's why you probably can't get with Candiace, because she's too direct for you. Let's keep going. So then she tells, so then Lisa calls Heather a liar and says that she's just mad because she's being exposed. And then Whitney says Heather did recommend her for the show. And I just feel like, since she recommended me for the show, like, I just feel like I have like this loyalty to her. Like, I've given her so much loyalty. I mean, like the type of loyalty that I ended up not being friends with you. I would come after you based on like this blind loyalty that I have with her. Like, me and you were beefing and now we're good friends. Like Heather, Whitney, girl, you ain't got no loyalty to Heather. What you talking about? I gave her so much loyalty, when I came here, because she recommended me for the show. Like, I wouldn't even have all of this if it wasn't for her. But I do feel like, though, at the same time, like, just because you recommend somebody for a show don't mean that they really owe you their life. Like, let's be honest here. The girl don't owe you her damn life now, Heather. She doesn't. Okay? Things happen, things change. But at the same time, girl, you not loyal. So what the fuck is you talking about? Anywho, Heather gonna be pissed off if she were to learn this, all right? So Heather and Porsha are talking, and the topic of her name being on the scroll comes up. Because Portia's like, okay, so are you going to remove your name from the scroll? And Heather says, well, it's not removed yet. And she says that, it's a non-factor to me, because like it's on a scroll. Like, I mean, do I really have to, like, I'm not even tripping. And Porsha said, now, wait a minute, bitch. Now, you just sat up here and said that it was important to you the other day and you wanted to get your name out there fucking scroll. And so now, like, what? Now it's just a name in a database. It's not that deep. Yeah, you're not making no fucking sense, okay? So, yeah, you're not, Miss Heather. You're not. I don't know if you're keeping your name on that list because of your kids. I don't know if you're keeping your name on that list for any form of notoriety or something based on who you and Whitney's parents were, grandparents were, or whatever. I'm not sure. But, I mean, it does look bad that you're a Mormon, but you want to sit up there and talk about a bad Mormon. Like, it does look bad. But anyway, Candiace decides that she's going to talk to Porsha, and she pulls out her tissue because she's getting emotional. And Porsha mocks her in the confessional, and it was funny as fuck when she brought that big-ass triangle paper towel or whatever and wiped her fucking eyes and said one thing about Candiace, them tears will not get past her cheek, period. And I'm hollering, okay? I thought that shit was so funny. But then it's like, this is what is irritating me a little bit, Miss Candiace, as much as I love you, girl. It's like, why? I'm just kind of over in this moment on this show, because this is a different dynamic of women, right? I just was kind of over the tears a bit. I was, because for me, the Monique situation is so old. Like, and I understand because, like, I mean, when I think about it, I'm thinking about Kandi Burruss and how she still is affected by things that may have happened a decade ago. Like when the sister told the lies on her with the escape situation, right? And when Kandi was sitting down with Shannon Sharp, she was like, her voice was cracking because it was something that still affected her. So I guess I understand Candiace when I relay it back to that, because again, I'm on the outside looking in. It didn't happen to me. So it's easier for me to be like, okay, girl, like, come on. All right, come on. But, I mean, that's how she felt. But I would love to see her move past this moment, okay? It was what it was. It happened. People said a lot of stupid shit. And a lot of them people are over here being Team Candiace now. So it's like, we don't really have to relive it. But anywho, we're going to talk about it. So Candiace tells her that the fight with Monique wasn't the issue. It was the aftermath, okay? And that's another thing to correct myself. Really, it wasn't even the issue of the fight. It was the aftermath, because a lot of people were putting out stories as though Monique was in the right with her situation. They were already beating Candiace to the punch, getting statements from Monique, not getting no statements from Candiace, whatever. In the media, it looked more favorable for Monique, okay? And likely because she was a fan fave and, people like Monique, whatever the case is, whatever, all right? So Candiace says she tells her that the fight with Monique wasn't the issue. It was the aftermath, where all the articles wrote stories in favor of Monique, making it seem like Candiace was the aggressor and the person that threw the glass when she never threw a glass at the woman. So she tells Porsha that. And Candiace said, and another thing, like, you up there on your platform and you over here trying to get somebody together or say something slick or whatever, I need you to know that I never sued her. That's number one. And number two, I damn sure ain't need nobody to give me no money for no down payment on no home. Yikes. Now, Porsha was just giving some semantics and doing too much. And some part of me, I don't feel bad about Candiace coming for Porsha at all, for real. It is the situation that kind of makes me feel like, okay, Candiace, let's move forward from this. But honestly, Porsha was just having a fucking fit last week. On the last week's episode, just because Candiace brought up what the media was saying about her and how her and Simon got together or whatever. So you shouldn't feel no ways, Miss Porsha, about Candiace checking you on the shit that you actually said in the media and all of that. You see what I'm saying? Because you was just pissed off the other day. So, yeah, it's giving tit for tat. It's giving touche just a bit, okay? Now, Candiace says, you don't know me, and it was really hurtful for me that you didn't know me, and you would just say some shit like that. So then Porsha says, well, listen, I was really just defending my friend, which is what a lot of people often do, defend their friends. And she says, I was trying to help her navigate the whole situation. And I get that because Porsha too has been in more than one altercation over there on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So she was able to give some type of insight and guidance to Monique just a little bit, right? So I do understand where Porsha was coming from with that, but at the same time, you trying to help Monique navigate this situation ain't have nothing to do with you sitting up here saying whatever it is you said on that platform, talk about that lady was suing that woman, and then also needing that money for a down payment on a house, okay? Now that could have been you defending your friend and being shady as fuck, okay? So here we are, right? So Candiace says it was messy and it was defamatory. And Porsha says it's not defamatory if she's telling me her facts. And then Candiace says, no, it's defamatory because those were not facts. I said, oh, okay. She said she didn't sue Monique and she never needed the money, okay? So she checks her about that. And she kind of got loud with her. And Porsha kind of was like, Porsha looked like, it was so funny to me because Porsha looked like she wanted to cuss Candiace the fuck out. But the fact that she probably told Simon she was going to come on the show and be a different type of person, she not fine with nobody, she's just going to have a good time with the whoop. It's giving, I can't show him that side of me, so I'm just going to let a lot of shit pass. Girl, it was too funny. So Whitney reaches all the way down from the end of her motherfucking table to have something to say to Candiace. And she says, she says, you felt like it was Candiace, you felt like it was defamatory when you honored your contract and she got a platform to speak on it. What the fuck are you talking about? And why the fuck are you talking? Ain't nobody talking to you. Okay? Ain't nobody talking to you, bitch. Shut your ass up. I think Candiace told her something like, no, she gave herself a platform, or she put herself on a platform to say that shit, or something like that. So Gizelle says, but it was the same platform that I used to actually defend you. And it's like, yeah, you did, Gizelle. I have to give you credit. You definitely defended Candiace, but I don't feel like you was defending Candiace for Candiace. I feel like you were defending Candiace because you did not like Monique, and you did not want anything to be the opposite for Monique. You wanted people to always know, I don't like this bitch. Whatever they clean up they trying to do or whatever and make Candiace look bad, y'all need to keep that in that direction because I don't like this hoe. Okay, that's what it was. But at the end of the day, Gizelle said that she defended her. They showed the credits confirming that Gizelle did have Candiace's back. Candiace says everyone got a statement from Mo, but nobody got a statement from her. And she says that because Candiace is feeling like Porsha came to the show with a statement on behalf of Monique. But it's like, Candiace, you got to know, if you really watch Housewives, that Porsha is a liar. So Monique probably didn't even say that shit to Miss Porsha. Porsha probably just said some shit on behalf of Monique, and that ain't even what that lady said. So you also got to consider the source and consider who the fuck you talking to. All right? So Gizelle says that it shouldn't matter because she was there to defend her. Gizelle BS. Gizelle says it's BS. Gizelle tells her it's BS and that she rode for her, okay? She was like, it is BS because you acting like I didn't ride for you, is what she's saying. And then Candiace says, okay, yeah. But Candiace was just trying to highlight, like, listen, at the end of the day, y'all let that bitch bring a statement. I didn't bring a statement in, okay? So then Candiace started going over her accolades, which I don't even know where this came from, speaking on her accolades in communications, okay? Howard University, I believe she has a degree in communications and some other things. You know, she's worked for the White House, all of that. And then Porsha tells Candiace that you can have the degree, but I was the one with the journalism job. You can have the degree, but I was the one with the journalism job. And this is what I want y'all to do for me. The same way y'all got in them comments and y'all dragged Miss Tamar Braxton for saying that she was a journalist because she worked on the show, similar to what Miss Porsha was doing, then I want y'all to make sure that y'all get Porsha together while she's talking about she had a journalism job when her job did not really require no journalism for real, okay? Nor does she have a degree in it, okay? So, yikes. Make sure y'all get her together too. Same way y'all was over there talking about Miss Tamar, all right? Candiace says that Porsha is a bully. She calls her a bully. Of course, Porsha is likely going to deny this, but I don't think Candiace is labeling you as a bully of just herself. I believe she's talking about how you've acted with Leah and stuff while on the trip. So then Marysol hops in the conversation, and it seems like she was trying to defend Gizelle and Porsha, but she says that the chat room was a fluff opinion show, and that was definitely a cackle. Okay, she says it did not require any investigative reporting, bitch. Now that was funny. And when I tell you Marysol hopping in, dragging them just that real quick, Porsha and Gizelle decided to go ahead and hop up and get their day started because they didn't want to talk about it no more. Too funny. So when it's time for them to get to where they go, they do this game called Spew It or Chew It, which was really cute. Porsha asked everybody questions. If you don't answer the question by spewing it, you're going to have to chew it. And what they had to chew was scorpions, okay? So when they get to Leah ended up chewing the scorpion because they asked her, like, hey, which one of the housewives from New York would you not like to see return? She didn't want to answer it. She chewed, okay? Whitney also chewed because they asked her to run a list of at least the 3 lies that Heather has told on TV so far, right? And then Miss Whitney said she was going to chew because she wants to be in a better place with Heather. This is why I cannot stand Whitney, and I don't see how nobody don't see her as Ashley Darby on Salt Lake City. I came into the show loving me some Whitney, but girl, fuck no. Girl, that has changed like last season. And I didn't even finish last season enough to know that Whitney was on some bullshit. But anyway, so Heather also ate because her question was, who hit you in the fucking eye? Now, everybody is believing that it's Jen Shaw because they feel like she's trying to protect Jen. I'm like, girl, Jen is already locked up. How much more can you protect her if charges are not filed? Like, how much more are you protecting her? Are you trying to protect her so that when she gets out, she'll still be able to come back to the show? Is that what it is? Like, how are you trying? Like, is it Jen? Or did somebody else hit you in the eye on the cast that nobody would suspect? And, yeah, you just holding on to it. I mean, at this point, girl, just tell somebody, who the fuck hit you in your eye? Who gave you that black eye? So we get to Mardi Gras night, and Porsha and Gizelle are tired of Candiace at this point. They feel like she could say whatever she want to say to them, but then as soon as they come for her, they call bullies. And again, as I said, she's not labeling y'all as that, as just how y'all coming at her. She's speaking on everything. Porsha, how you was coming at Leah, and then what's her name, Gizelle, how you was coming at Marysol, them telling them how they can't speak their language or whatever, okay? So y'all think y'all the big women on campus, and y'all too also think that y'all can say what the fuck y'all want. It's just that Candiace is probably the more vocal woman out of most of them, if not Leah, that's not gonna let you just run over her because she know that y'all can't like compete with her verbally. So she's gonna get with you on that. So Gizelle speaks on her and the Chris situation and says that it wasn't good enough for her to tell. She says, it seems like whatever I do for Candiace is never good enough. When I had her back on the show, it wasn't good enough. When I approached her and told her about the Chris situation, it wasn't good enough because it was on camera. No, BITCH, it was not good enough. First of all, it wasn't good enough when you did it on the chat room because you really didn't do that for Candiace. For real, for real. You don't like Monique, and that's what that was, period, okay? Now, when it comes to the Chris situation, you had more than enough time, okay, to have that conversation with Candiace and her husband. You did wait until the cameras got there. Let's not play these silly games, okay? Porsha trying to defend Gizelle and says that Candiace is trying to end her by saying that Gizelle is making sexual accusations or whatever about Chris or whatever, da-da-da-da. And it's like, Porsha, I understand y'all didn't see the season, so you really didn't know. You were blindly supporting Gizelle, but you could have sat that one out too because Gizelle definitely did that, okay? I wonder how you feel about those comments now after watching the show. That's why y'all need a reunion, okay? After watching the season, how do you feel about the shit now that you see that Gizelle referred to him as a sneaky link and he approached her on some, if she was with it, he'll be with it type situation too? And only to go on and say that nothing happened. He did nothing in the room. Sounds stupid, but let's keep going. What else? reasonably shady. All right. So they do the Mardi Gras dinner and stuff. They get ready to play a game, reasonably shady. Alexia was considered shady for saying Miami did a comeback after 8 years, and they felt like she was SHI on the other Housewives shows and stuff. Gizelle tried to say that, but when you said paved the way, that was a problem. And Alexia said, girl, I ain't never say no damn paved the way. And she said, maybe Marysol said that because that's her language. That's how she talk. I don't talk like that. Don't put them lies on me, girl. And I'm chuckling to myself because I'm like, girl, we all know how Gizelle be up there lying. Girl, she'll just say some words and it don't even be. She'll just throw something out there. Just full of shit. That's just what she does. Candiace says when it came down to being bully, like, is it reasonable or shady to say somebody is a bully when they're not being one? And then Porsha says that's shady. And then Candiace says, no, that's reasonable. And then I'm like, I think it's reasonable as well because you might not know that that's what you're being, but that's likely what you are in this moment, okay? It's just what it is. So Candiace gave a great little explanation of that. It said what the fuck it is that she said. Listen, if I want another season, because if Porsha and Candiace is on the show together, it's definitely a Kiki and a cackle. Because one thing Candiace gonna do is be on Portia's ass. Okay, and one thing Porsha gonna do is try to restrain herself from cussing Candiace the out until she finally reaches that boiling point and she cuss her ass out. Like, it's just so funny to me. All right. What did I say? I said I love how Candiace tells her how it is, like tells her exactly like it is, like, girl, da 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 da, and what you finna do? I love it. Okay, Porsha be wanting to lay them hands on Candiace. I know she be wanting to lay them hands on that girl, but I feel like she got to show Simon that she's changed and she's a whole different person and she's in her Zen era and all this and that, so she don't really try and, get all up in her face like she would have with Miss Cynthia, okay? But anywho, so Whitney wants Heather to speak on where she is in leaving the Mormon church because the question came up about, is it shady or reasonable to write a book about being a Mormon if you haven't left yet or something like that. And I can't remember if they said it was shady or reasonable, but then Whitney says, no, I want Heather to, speak on where she is in leaving the Mormon church. This is why I don't like Whitney. This is why. We just had this conversation the other day. You just got on the phone with your bullshit with Lisa Barlow. Then you turn around, you go to the spew or chew and sit up there and say you don't want no issues with Heather. But a few hours later, by the end of that night, you over here on some bullshit and you wanted her to explain where she is in her Mormon situation. And I loved when Alexia slid in that bitch. And Alexia was like, girl, okay, like, I might leave my husband or whatever, but I haven't fully signed this divorce paperwork yet. Like, girl, we might be separated, but like, girl, you're doing too much. You're dragging it at this point, right? So I loved how Alexia kind of slid in and had Heather's back because Whitney, you are doing too much, girl. Yeah, so there's that. I didn't understand it. Like, why you bring this up if you didn't want to have no issues with her? So they headed to the house. Porsha and Gizelle talking about Whitney and Heather and how they arguing and this and that every time they go somewhere, whatever. And Porsha was like, I wonder what they talking about in that car. So then it changes to that car and Leah is asking the ladies, do they like anal? Whew. I was like, girl, how did we get here? Right? So Whitney, I don't even know I think everybody said no. I think Whitney said she wouldn't recommend it. I think Heather said no. Candiace said that she tried it and it hurt and it was a small pain when she tried it, and I'm just over here wondering, girl, how the hell did we get here? I don't see how y'all do it, but y'all, it's y'all bodies, y'all do what y'all want to do and y'all gonna do that anyway because that's just how y'all is. Now, I have heard that it's really good, but I'm not one of them people. Period. Don't go back there. Don't go back there doing all of that. You're doing too much. Period. But anyway, let's keep going. So Whitney goes to the confessional at the very end of the episode. And this is where she says, okay, I want to get this on out there. And she gives the 3 lies that Heather has told. One was a black eye. The other was her not liking Lisa Barlow. And then the last one was the Mormon church. And I was like, that's when it clicked for me at the very end of the episode where I realized that Whitney is Ashley Darby. period. And it ain't changing my mind on that. Not right now. Okay? But that's all that I got for y'all. I just wanted to give y'all a quick run through of Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. Okay? It was cute for what it was. Let me know your thoughts and comments. How are you feeling about this Porsha versus Candiace situation? I know it's way more stands of Porsha than it is of Candiace. Nor do I care. Okay? I know, but I don't care. But you guys go ahead. Leave your thoughts and comments down below, honey. I'm Jamie That's Me. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JamiThatsMe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.